Hey everyone, welcome. Are you ready to go on an amazing adventure? Today, we're going to find out how something as simple as a thought can turn into something super powerful, something called belief. It's going to be awesome. Let's dive in.
Okay, let's try something fun. I want you to just think for a second about a big, warm, super cheesy pizza. Can you almost smell it? I bet your mouth is starting to water just a little bit, right? And you're probably thinking, I really want some pizza. See? What you think about totally matters. And that's our first big clue for today.
You got it. We are about to learn a secret recipe. But hold on, this isn't a recipe for pizza. It's for something way cooler. It's a special 3-step recipe that can change everything in your life. And it all starts with that one simple thing, our thoughts.
Okay, recipe books open. Are you ready for step 1? The very first ingredient in our amazing recipe is... Think about it. This is the starting line. This is where the magic begins.
Now there's a big grown-up word for this step. It's called meditation. Whoa, that sounds kind of fancy, doesn't it? But don't worry, it's actually super simple. All it means is thinking about something again and again and again. You know, like when you hear your absolute favorite song and you just can't get it out of your head, you find yourself humming it all day long. That's exactly what this is like.
And guess what? This isn't just some idea we made up. Nope, it comes straight from the Bible. A verse in the book of Joshua tells us that we should keep God's words on our lips and think about them day and night. So you see, it's not just a good idea. It's like a special instruction from God.
Here's a really cool way to picture this. Imagine you have a cup of plain water. That's kind of like our hearts. And you have a tea bag. Now, if you just dip the tea bag in real quick, blink, does much happen? Nah, not really. The water's still pretty clear. But what if you let that tea bag just sit there and soak? The water completely changes color and gets full of yummy flavor, right? Well, when we let God's words soak in our minds like that, it changes our hearts and makes us super strong from the inside out.
Okay, so you've been letting all those good words soak in your mind. What happens next? Oh, this is my favorite part. Get ready for step 2. It's the aha moment. You know, that feeling when a little light bulb just goes ding right over your head?
And there's another big word for this moment. It's called revelation. It sounds super important. And it really is. But all it means is that God helps you understand something in a brand new way. It's like He's sharing a special secret just for you that makes everything suddenly click into place. For example, maybe you've heard the words, "The Lord is my shepherd," 100 times before. You think, yeah, shepherd, sheep, I get it. But then one day you're really thinking about it and bam, it hits you. You're like, whoa, wait a second. That means God takes care of me. He's watching over me and protecting me. That amazing feeling of finally getting it, that's revelation.
So you've had that awesome aha moment. Now what? We can't just stop there. That brings us to our final step, step 3, believe and act. This is where we take that new understanding and actually do something with it.
And that action has a name you definitely know, faith. So what is faith really? Well, it's choosing to trust that what God says is true, even more than what you see with your own 2 eyes, or what you feel inside. It's deciding that God's word is the truest thing in the whole world.
This chart shows it perfectly. Look, it's totally normal to feel scared sometimes. Our feelings are real, but our faith is what we choose to believe and say next. So even if your tummy feels all nervous, you can use your faith and say, wait a minute, I might feel scared, but I'm going to say that God is with me. You're choosing God's truth over that wobbly feeling. And get this, it's so cool. Jesus even said that if we have faith, we could tell a whole mountain to move. Now, He was talking about our big problems. You know, the things in life that feel as big and impossible as a mountain standing in our way. With faith, we can stand up to those giant problems and watch them get out of the way.
So, there we have it, our 3-step recipe for changing everything. Now let's put all the pieces together and see how they work to create a super cool chain reaction.
Check it out. It's an amazing chain reaction. First, it all starts with thinking about God's word. That leads to understanding it. That's your aha moment. That understanding builds up your faith until you start really believing it. And what happens when you believe? You get to see real change in your life. See? Thinking leads to understanding, leads to believing, which leads to change.
And you know, this is the very best part. When you truly, deep down believe God's word, you start to see His power at work.
The things that used to scare you start to seem smaller. You feel braver and stronger. All kinds of amazing things begin to happen.
And it all comes back to this one super important idea. This is our memory verse today. It tells us that faith doesn't just appear out of thin air. It comes from hearing the message about God. So, the more you listen to God's word and think about it, the more your faith can grow. It's like you're feeding your faith muscles and making them stronger every day.
Okay, so as we finish up, I have one last question for you to think about. After everything we've learned today, what's one amazing thing, one promise from God, that you are going to choose to believe for today? What are you going to let soak into your heart and change everything?